At the start of our story, we meet a 19-year-old boy named Oscar. Usually, boys his age are interested in girls, but Oscar is very different from other boys. He is very mature and loves French books, especially the ideas of writers like Voltaire and Rousseau. Oscar is very handsome and smart, and he can speak French too. Oscar studies at a boarding school where he is very popular with girls. Every girl wants him to be her boyfriend. But he is not interested in girls his own age. He thinks they are childish. Oscar's boarding school has some days off for Thanksgiving holiday, so all students are going home by train. Oscar is also on the train with his best friend, talking to him. Then a beautiful girl comes to him who also studies at his boarding school. The girl likes Oscar and wants to go on a date with him, but Oscar kindly says no to her. Seeing this, Oscar's friend says that she is the most beautiful girl in the whole boarding school. Boys are crazy about her, and you said no to her. Oscar tells his friend that he likes older women who are wise and mature. He says he loves a woman and is planning to win her heart during Thanksgiving break. After this, Oscar gets off the train with his friend, takes a taxi, and then both go to their own homes. When Oscar reaches home, his father is very happy to see him. Actually, Oscar's mother had died a few years ago. Then his father married a woman named Eve, so that his stepmother Eve could take care of Oscar. Oscar's father is a university professor, and Eve is a heart doctor. At night, Oscar's father throws a party to celebrate his son coming home. Many guests come to the party. Oscar's father introduces him to a girl his own age, but Oscar is not interested in her. He just keeps looking at his stepmother Eve. Actually, the woman Oscar was telling his friend about, the one he loves, is none other than his stepmother Eve. Eve is a smart, mature, and independent woman. When Oscar's father married Eve after his mother's death, Eve started taking care of Oscar. During that time, Oscar fell in love with Eve, but then he went to boarding school. However, he still hasn't forgotten her. What Oscar wants is socially wrong, but he follows his heart. He sees beauty in everything Eve does, the way she walks, the way she talks, her wisdom. Oscar starts seeing her as a perfect woman, just like he had read about in books. But Eve has no idea about this. Here, Oscar tries to talk openly with Eve, but unaware Eve doesn't understand any of his actions. At the party, Oscar meets Eve's best friend whose name is Diane. She is a modern thinking woman. She likes to live freely. She works as a massage therapist. After this, Oscar's father asks him to drop the same girl home whom Oscar had shown no interest in. Oscar doesn't want to drop her off, but has to go because his father asked him to. Oscar goes outside with the girl to catch a cab to drop her off. The girl tells Oscar that she wants to go on a date with him, but Oscar says there is a big difference between them. His thinking is completely different, so he cannot go on a date with her. Then Oscar puts the girl in a taxi and sends her home. Oscar couldn't tell Eve what was in his heart, which makes him very sad. He wants to go to a bar to drink and forget his sadness, but he is too young to go to a bar. So he enters the bar with a fake ID and starts drinking alcohol. Oscar drinks too much and then comes out of the bar. On the way, he is walking while stumbling in his drunk state. Then he bumps into Diane. Diane sees that Oscar has drunk too much, and if he goes home in this condition, his father will be very angry. So seeing his condition, Diane brings him to her apartment. Oscar is very tired. He lies down on the bed. Diane says he needs a massage and asks him to take off his clothes. Then she gives Oscar a massage. Oscar is drunk and gets carried away seeing Diane. Diane also cannot control herself seeing Oscar shirtless, and both come very close to each other. The next morning when Oscar wakes up, he sees Diane sleeping next to him. He feels very sorry about last night, and thinks he has made a big mistake. Oscar tries to leave quietly without saying anything after putting on his clothes. But then he sees Diane's boyfriend in the other room. Seeing him, Oscar gets very scared. But Diane's boyfriend thinks Oscar came for a massage. Then Diane also comes and pretends as if Oscar really came only for a massage. After this, when Oscar comes home, his father asks him where he was last night. Oscar lies that he was with a girl from his boarding school. Oscar finds out that Eve has already gone to work. Oscar could no longer hide his love for Eve and was looking for a chance to talk to Eve so he could tell her what was in his heart. Oscar plans to take lunch to surprise Eve so he can talk to her alone. Oscar starts packing lunch for Eve. Seeing this, his father becomes very happy. Oscar's father is a simple person who doesn't know about his son's real feelings. After this, Oscar takes lunch for Eve and reaches her clinic where she is working. Eve becomes very happy seeing Oscar and thinks how good my son is. Eve is a heart doctor, and Oscar asks her some questions about the heart. He asks why the heart is the symbol of love. They are talking like this when Eve gets a call from Diane. After talking, Eve tells Oscar that tonight they and his father are going out for dinner, and Diane is also coming with them. Hearing this, Oscar gets worried. He is afraid that Diane might tell Eve that they both slept together, so Oscar goes to Diane's house to talk to her. But she is not there. Her boyfriend tells Oscar that Diane has gone to some restaurant with her friends. Oscar reaches that restaurant where Diane is sitting with her friends having coffee. Oscar tries to talk to Diane alone, but her friends ask him to sit and start talking to him. After talking to Oscar, all of Diane's friends are quite impressed and start flirting with him. After some time, all of Diane's friends leave. Then Oscar tells Diane to forget whatever happened between them and not to tell anyone about it, especially Eve. Diane says don't worry, nobody will know about what happened between us. She wants this relationship with Oscar to continue because Diane starts feeling that maybe Oscar has that depth which she has never seen in any of her relationships. She starts feeling an emotional connection with Oscar and wanted Oscar to spend a little more time with her, but Oscar refuses and leaves from there. Now Oscar gets caught in a deep mental confusion. He wants to get rid of Diane and tell Eve what is in his heart. Oscar goes to his best friend's house and tells him the truth that the woman he loves is Eve. Hearing this, his friend is shocked. Oscar also tells that he slept with Diane while drunk, but now he wants to get rid of her. Hearing this, his friend explains to him that all this is wrong. You should forget Eve. But Oscar doesn't listen to his friend. He doesn't see Eve as a mother, but as a perfect woman with whom he wants to live forever. That night, Oscar gets ready and goes with his family and Diane to a hotel for dinner. Sitting at the table, everyone drinks first, but Diane starts drinking too much alcohol and starts flirting with Oscar in French language. Eve and her husband didn't know French, so they don't understand anything. Oscar tries to stop Diane from saying such things and also from drinking more, but she doesn't stop. Oscar is very scared that Diane might let it slip that they both slept together. So he tries to make Diane quiet. Seeing Oscar's behavior, his father and Eve find it strange. When Diane goes to the washroom, Oscar also goes after her. He stops her and says what you are doing is wrong. But Diane starts forcing Oscar. Then Oscar's father sees both of them. When both come back, his father asks, "Are you both hiding something from us?" Diane says we love each other. Hearing this, Oscar's father and Eve are shocked and say this relationship is wrong. There is a very big age gap between you two. Such a thing should not have happened. At night, when Oscar's father is busy with work, Eve comes to him and wants to be close. But he says he has to work now. So Eve leaves from there. Oscar sees all this while hiding. The next day, Eve and Diane meet. Eve explains to Diane that you should not have had a relationship with Oscar. There is a big age difference between you two. All this is wrong. But Diane says Oscar seemed like an attractive young man to me. I really like his behavior and way of talking. Diane further says if there was another woman in my place, she would have done the same, and maybe you would have done the same too. After this, Eve and Oscar play tennis. But when the ball hits Oscar's head, both return home. Then Eve makes Oscar sit and asks him, "Why did you make a relationship with Diane? All this is wrong." Oscar says I only slept with her once. There is nothing between us. He further tells that he was drunk, and Diane was wearing your scarf, which reminded me of you, and I went to bed with her. Oscar says I love you, Eve. Hearing this, Eve is shocked. She doesn't scold Oscar, but explains to him that at the age you are, you don't know the difference between love and attraction. What you are feeling is a temporary attraction, which you think is love. You still have a lot to learn. Only with life experiences will you understand what true love is. When Eve rejects Oscar's feelings, Oscar doesn't break, but starts understanding himself. He realizes that his love was an imagination, a search for an ideal which he had seen in Eve. After this, he tries to forget Eve, and also distances himself from Diane. Earlier he thought his relationship with Diane was a mistake, but later he understands that not everything in life is under our control. Sometimes mistakes also become experiences. Oscar was mentally mature, but he didn't have a big brother or guide with whom he could openly and freely talk about his heart, and who could show him the right path. Diane also saw Oscar as a man, which confused Oscar in all this. A few days after this, Oscar's boarding school holidays end and his father and Eve come to drop him at the railway station. When his father goes to buy tickets, Oscar apologizes to Eve and accepts that he got carried away by emotions. After this, Oscar gets on the train and sits with his friend. Then he bumps into the same girl who liked him and had come to talk to him at the beginning of the story. The girl tells Oscar a quote from Voltaire: "If we don't get something good, we will surely get something new." Oscar looks at her with loving eyes, and now Oscar has learned to connect with people his own age. Oscar's friend asks him about Eve. Oscar says, "My obsession with Eve was not as important as I thought it was before." As the train moves forward, Oscar slowly smiles, and with this, the story ends. Friends, thank you very much for watching the video till here. If you liked the video, please like and share it and subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss upcoming movie explanations. See you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.